Well, welcome to Deeply Rooted Botanical Medicine with Stephanie Georgieff, and I'm your host, producer, and content creator for incredible courses on botanical medicine, which you can subscribe to and enjoy and learn from right now. So make sure to check out the links in the program notes, and you will be the first on your block to be completely informed. Now, this is our once a week feature. It's called This Week in Botanical Medicine, and there's some really interesting developments, things that I've been actually watching for a while. And one of the first things that I think is really interesting is that Procter & Gamble has signed a definitive agreement to acquire Thorne Health Tech. And Thorne is a wonderful supplement company that has many, many incredible supplements that I've personally used as well as prescribed for many years. They're known for a full spectrum of supplements, anything from vitamins to amino acids, minerals, but also some really good botanicals. They also have isolated substances such as berberine, which, as we know, come from things like milk thistle, etc. But what's really interesting is that Procter & Gamble is going to purchase Thorne Health Tech for $3.8 billion. And this deal was announced in early August 2026, and it will probably close sometime in the fourth quarter of 2026. And of course, they have some customary regulations and approvals, etc. Now, Thorne is being acquired from the private equity of L. Catterton, which had previously taken Thorne private in 2023 in a deal valued at $680 million. So that's quite a profit. The new $3.8 billion price tag represents a massive return following years of steady growth, and Thorne's annual revenue surpasses $500 million. Now, Procter & Gamble, it's kind of an interesting company to purchase, a supplement company. But what's interesting, Procter & Gamble is a massive multinational consumer good company, and they're more commonly known for fabric and home care, all sorts of detergents that we see on television commercials constantly. They also produce things like Pampers and different feminine hygiene products, toilet paper, different shampoos. They also are the producers of things like Pepto-Bismol, Vicks. And what's really interesting is that they're starting to purchase a lot of what we would consider alternative, medicine companies. They have purchased New Chapter, which has really good vitamins and dietary supplements, Align Probiotics. They own Metamucil. They also own 7Cs, which is a brand known for vitamins and supplements. It's used to be part of the Merck Group, and nutritional supplement brands like Fembion and Neurobion. And basically what Procter & Gamble is doing is trying to capture more of the preventative wellness market by adding premium science-based brands like Thorne to complement their existing health lineup. And this is a signal of things that I have been talking about literally for 30 years. I went to some really interesting interesting lectures and workshops that were put on by the Natural Products Merchandiser, showing that in the natural products niche market, which is basically organics, supplements, vegetarian, functional foods, those kind of things, they are consistent moneymakers every year. Their portfolios increase anywhere from 50 to 100% per year, and they've done it for over several decades, and nobody does that. Like, not AI, nothing. And so this is why these big multinational corporations are starting to buy up all of these really wonderful companies because they make a lot of money. And the problem with that is that these multinational corporations also do horrible things. They do horrible things. Procter & Gamble has been a long time target of the Rainforest Action Network. They're clear-cutting boreal forests in Canada. So it's I would say not, I don't know how I don't feel good about this, but it's happening. So you need to be aware that natural medicine can make a lot of money, but it is being challenged by all kinds of interesting moral dilemmas. Now, another really interesting item of news this past week is that the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians and the Association of Naturopathic Medical Colleges and also the Naturopathic Students Association are all suing the United States Department of Education because this wife of a boxing magnate who owns all these performance wrestling things, the wife of this person was given the job of being the Secretary of Education and the head of the Educational Department, U.S. Department of Education, and they're reworking student loans. And basically what they're doing is they're capping how much people can borrow, which I think is so interesting because all of these people that are making these decisions don't pay taxes, and they also leverage debt all over the place, and then they abandon their debts. But anyways, they're capping how much students can borrow in the United States, and they're renaming who can borrow for what type of degree. And along with nursing and education, this very experienced wife of a wrestling multi-billionaire is deciding that people who attend naturopathic colleges, that's not a professional degree, nor is nursing and nor is teaching. So what this does is it will cap the amount of money people can borrow, which will also harm poor students that can't afford to supplement beyond what they can borrow. So this is a very interesting development. It's obviously going to damage nursing, and we have a nursing shortage in this country, so much so that we tend to import them from other countries, particularly the Philippines and all over Asia. But now who knows if these people will be able to get visas to come here. But we're going to harm these institutions and also people that want these degrees, such as nursing, because they won't be able to afford to go to the schools. And now what they're going to do is they're going to curb people who are professionally trained in integrative medicine. And other than acupuncturists, which I'm sure they're going to be harmed by this new development and who can borrow for what type of education, the naturopaths and the acupuncturists are the only professional degree that offers botanical medicine as a professional degree. You don't have this in medical schools, you don't have it in nursing schools, and so this is an interesting development in terms of the future of these professions. And it's so interesting to me that the current Health and Human Services leader isn't like saying maybe that's not a great idea. Apparently, making all sorts of pronouncements on certain types of health care, but not supporting anything by offering educations to people who could actually be great advocates and healers to the general population. No, we can't have that. Now, if you want to take my course in botanical medicine, I have a whole segment on the history of botanical medicine, and it's very interesting because in the United States, there was a really wonderful educational platform for botanical medicine in the 1800s and up through the early 1900s. And the way that was killed was by altering licensing for different colleges, like naturopathic colleges, homeopathic colleges, eclectic colleges. They couldn't get licensed, and if you didn't go to a licensed school, you couldn't practice medicine. So people stopped going to those types of schools, and it pretty much put botanical medicine, homeopathy, nutrition, etc. in the underground. And it came up again in the 80s and 90s, and this decision by the wrestling magnate's wife will really harm botanical medicine and the practice of it in the United States. So we shall see. Hopefully the 3 groups of naturopaths will be successful in their suits. I can tell you, because I attended naturopathic school. People who go to those types of schools are really good at organizing and educating and all sorts of things. So we hope they're successful in their lawsuit. And I also hope that teachers and nurses will have their degrees recognized as professional degrees. So that's all the news that's fit. Well, not all the news that's fit to print, but news that I think is rather interesting for this week in botanical medicine. Again, I'm offering discounts on all sorts of things, especially if you want to really learn all about botanical medicine. So make sure to check out the links in the program notes. And until our next episode, be well.